Welcome to another segment of Training Videos from the House, brought to you by Stickman University. The initial walkthrough is the customer's first impression, and you want to make it a good impression. Now's the time to set expectations and introduce yourself. If you're stuck on what to say, the Back to the Basics online training can refresh your memory for proper greeting techniques. As part of your walkthrough, the customer will show you the house. Since you can see the full scope of the move as they show you around, this is when you should check to see if the estimate provided is an accurate one. You should also begin planning the tier loading process. Since you're the expert moving professional, let the customer know what to expect before you get started moving. Give the customer a quick overview of the steps you'll be taking. Don't be afraid to take ownership and take charge of the move. If you see any possible problems or concerns, make sure you let the customer know. This is also when to review the pre-move paperwork with the customer and discuss a revision of estimate if necessary. If you see previous damage during the walkthrough, talk to the customer about it. Have them sign a previous damage report. If you have questions about this process, talk to your manager. Next, you should explain to the customer our padding and stretch wrapping procedure. Ask them if there's an item that they would like special attention paid to, like expensive or antique items. Inform the customer that the doors will be propped open. Tell them to please keep children and pets in a safe area. You should also look for items you shouldn't move, such as household cleaners, liquid soap, drugs, money, weapons, etc. Explain that it's against our procedures to move these items. It's best to look for difficult areas during the walkthrough, so you'll be prepared. These include areas with low-hanging lights, tight turns, or floors where you'll need to use more caution. If you see any loose or unboxed items, talk to the customer about additional packaging needs. After all this is done and your walkthrough is complete, ask the customer to sign the necessary paperwork. Finally, make a plan for the best way to load the truck, and ask the customer if it's okay to park in the driveway. In summary, remember the following points. Thank you for viewing this video on the initial walkthrough. Once the truck is loaded with the customer's belongings and prior to leaving the load site, make sure the crew performs a walkthrough with the customer. You'll want to ensure all services requested by the customer were completed. Be sure to ask the customer if there's anything else in areas such as the shed, attic, patio, or garage. If you removed a door, remember to rehang the door. You'll want to make sure all equipment and tools are accounted for and back on the truck. This is part of our professionalism and sets the tone with the customer. During this walkthrough, it's a good time to set the expectations with the customer. Confirm the unload address with the customer. Discuss the route you'll take to get to the unload site. Make the customer aware that the route may need to be adjusted based on obstructions such as a low bridge. If you're grabbing a quick lunch on the way to the unload, let the customer know what time to expect you and that they'll not be billed for this time. Confirm this process with your manager. Inform the customer that a walkthrough will be performed at the unload site. Ask them to start thinking about where their items will be placed. Thank you for viewing this video on the second walkthrough. This walkthrough takes place at the customer's unload site. This will give you a chance to see the area where you'll be unloading the customer's belongings. Begin with parking in the road and survey the best place to park the truck. Think about items such as, will you have a clear shot to the door with the ramp? Or will you have to park on the street and walk the items in? Where's the best entrance to unload the items? The front door or the garage entrance? These are all questions to ask yourself as you arrive at the unload site. Tour the unload site with the customer to determine the location of the items and plan the unload process. Take ownership of the move. Discuss the unload process and address any concerns with the customer. Gain the customer's permission to park the truck. Then prep the site just as you did at the load site. This will include floor coverings, door protectors, door jamb protectors, and banister pads if necessary. Thank you for viewing this video on the third walkthrough. The final walkthrough with the customer at the unload site serves as the last impression and allows you the opportunity to make sure the customer is totally satisfied with the services provided. Make sure you do this prior to completing the final paperwork, as this is billable time. As you're completing the final walkthrough with the customer, make sure all moving materials are accounted for and that all trash is picked up and the truck is reset for the next customer. You'll want to ensure all items are placed to the customer's liking. Wrap up the move by presenting the final paperwork and address any concerns or questions with the customer. Don't forget to mention the customer satisfaction survey. Remember, referrals are our highest compliment. Thank you for viewing this video on the final walkthrough. If you have any questions, please direct them to training@2men.com.